bounty without a beggar, generosity without a guest. Be beggar and guest, for beauty is seeking a mirror. Water is crying for a thirsty man. Helplessness and need are a tasteful bezel for that ruby. Your poverty is a burak, which is I think the horse that Muhammad rode to heaven. Don't be a coffin riding on other men's shoulders. Thank God you hadn't the means, or you may have been a pharaoh. The prayer of Moses was, Lord, I am in need of thee. The way of Moses is all hopelessness and need, and it is the only way to God. From when you were an infant, when has helplessness ever failed you? Joseph's path leads into the pit. Don't flee across the chessboard of this world, for it is his game and we are checkmate, checkmate. Hunger makes stale bread more delicious than halava. Your discomfort is spiritual indigestion. Seek hunger and passion and need. A mouse is a nibbler. God gave him mind in proportion to his needs. Without need, God gives nothing. How will you impress God? You are 100,000 dinars in his debt. A beggar shows his blindness and palsy. He does not say, give me bread, O people, I am a rich man with granaries and palaces. Bring 100 sacks of gold, and God will say, bring the heart. And if you bring a dead heart, carried like a coffin on your shoulder, God will say, oh, cheat, is this a graveyard? Bring the live heart, bring the live heart. If you haven't any knowledge and only opinions, have good opinions about God. This is the way. If you can only crawl to him. If you cannot pray sincerely, offer your dry, hypocritical, agnostic prayer, for God in his mercy accepts bad coin. If you have 100 doubts of God, make them into 90 doubts. This is the way. O seeker, though you have broken your vows 100 times, come again, for God has said, though you are on high or in the pit, consider me, for I am the way.
Hey, Baba.
Wow.
That is a wow. That's a complete wow.
Yeah.
I've heard that before, but I never get tired of hearing it.
Yeah, I don't either.
Can you tell us the title? I know he doesn't properly have titles, but can you tell us the title of that?
You can find it online under the title, What is Bounty Without a Beggar? Rumi, What is Bounty Without a Beggar?
Yeah.
Thank you. Who would like to go next? Following Rumi, right?
Well, I can read this. I've written it out like a poem, but and it probably was a poem in the German, but this is a saying of from Meister Eckhart. And this poem, you said in your notes, something that uplifts you. This poem is the whole story of my coming to Baba in this brief poem. And when I first read it, I wept. And I was in a restaurant with my children eating dinner, and they were shocked. Why is Mom crying on the other side of the table? My husband looks at me, what's going on? This poem. Okay, I'll try to read it without crying, okay?
We like tears here, just so you know.
Okay.
Better to cry.
Yeah. God lies in wait for us with nothing so much as love. Love is like a fisherman's hook. Without the hook, he could never catch a fish. But once the hook is taken, even though the fish twists hither and yon, still the fisherman is sure of him. And so too, I speak of love. He who is held by it is held by the strongest of bonds, and yet the stress is pleasant. Moreover, he can sweetly bear all that happens to him. When one has found this bond, he looks for no other. Meister Eckhart.
Wow. That was
Pretty much the bottom line, isn't it?
fabulous. Oh my
Isn't
God.
it sweet?
So good.
I was that fish.
Right. Yeah, no, that's very clear.
Yeah, swimming in the pond in that atmosphere was all I knew, you know, and I didn't know there was a fisherman. I didn't know there was a hook. And there was the hook, and I bit. Yanked out. I didn't know there was another atmosphere up above the water, you know, yanked out into this other world. And the fisherman was sure of me. So he knew what he was doing. It's so humbling, you know, because I wasn't seeking God. He just came and got me out of that pond. And that's a very, you know, okay, that's all I'll say.
Can you say the title again?
Well, as far as I know, I didn't see that it had a title. It's like Guzzles. Just the first line, I guess, is what God lies in wait for us with nothing so much as love.
I just absolutely adore that one. Thank you so much.
I think Phil and Jean Ludwig have that particular poem framed on their wall in one of their bedrooms.
Oh.
Yes, I know. That was my wedding gift to them when they married.
Oh.
I've been giving this as a gift. I mean, I'm a calligrapher. So I don't know if you can see this, but this is a photograph of one version that I framed. So it's kind of, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Oh, beautiful.
Talk so we can make it big. Talk. Big.
Okay, how's that?
It's not coming big. Oh, yeah. Oh, isn't that beautiful?
If I back it up, I can you see it? Yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, great.
Really.
We all want one.
We all want one.
Yeah.
And then we live,
At
Elaine.
the bottom is a Celtic knot.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Fantastic.
In the vines. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, I'm glad you saw that at Phil and Jean's. I was at their wedding, and that was my wedding gift to them.
I would stay at their house when I was making the CD.
Yes.
And I didn't stay in that bedroom, but I would walk into that bedroom for like a place to meditate, and I saw it on the wall. I know I took a picture of it more than once because I like Meister Eckhart.
Oh, good.
You know?
Good. Yeah. You know, send it to your computer, print it out as big as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, you took a picture of it. Oh, cool. Yeah, good idea.
I was going to say, if you guys put the gallery view, you can see everyone. So you don't have to worry about the screen shifting.
I have been on gallery view, but they're thumbnails, and the person who's speaking becomes big on mine.
Yeah.
How it is on yours?
Well, it depends how you have your screen set up, if you have it split or not.
Yeah.
I don't have my screen split, so I just see everyone.
Me too. I see everyone.
Yeah.
But then the person who's speaking becomes really big, and everyone else is
I like that. Yeah.
It's full screen. Yeah, that's what I have too.
Yeah.
All you do is peep and you become big.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Elaine. Who would like to go next? Jump in. Go ahead.
I have a roomie that
Okay.
I've stored. Although you appear in earthly form, your essence is pure consciousness. You are the fearless guardian of divine light. So come, Return to the root of your own soul. When you lose all sense of self, the bonds of 1,000 chains will vanish. Lose yourself completely.
Mm.
Return to the root of your own soul. You descended from Adam by the pure word of God, but you turned your sight to the empty show of this world. Alas, how can you be satisfied with so little? So come, return to the root of your own soul. Why are you so enchanted by this world when a mind of gold lies within you? Open your eyes and come. Return to the root of your own soul.
Mhm. Hey,
Mm.
Baba.
Yeah, good.
Fabulous.
Yeah. Kelly, is that mandala above you? Is that by Jay Moeller?
It is indeed.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
His
I
work is so
visited him and
distinctive.
Hmm?
His work is so distinctive.
yeah.
Yeah.
I visited him in Oaxaca a couple years ago.
Oh, well,
It's a wonderful city, and yeah, he's got a lot of nice work there.
yeah, he's quite the master.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah.
I'll go next. This is a poem I wrote. Laurent Weichberger, just published a book about, it's called Surrender with Mir Baba. And he asked me to write a surrender poem. And this was not the poem that ended up in the book, but this was the pre version, which I still think is kind of, I still like. But anyway, it's called Surrender.
Mm-hmm.
I have called out to you so many times. I am limp and exhausted.
Mm.
Sometimes you feel so far away that I am like a small child whose parent has forgotten to come home.
Mm.
Then I am reminded that desperation is not the key to this door. Trusting that I have not been locked out, I rattle the latch once again. Suddenly, the gate swings open, and I remember that surrendering my own ideas and constant divisiveness is the only way into this heart you have offered. Please, Baba, when I am hoarse and rusty, whisper the password. Say surrender.
Mm.
Oh,
Mm.
Mm.
oh, love
Wow.
it. Oh,
Beautiful.
Fabulous.
so sweet.
If y'all like that one, I'll read you the one that got into the book.
Yeah, I was wondering what's wrong with that one.
You want to hear that one?
Sure.
You can. This will be fun. We can. I would love to hear which one you like better because I was in such a debate about this. Which one to? This one's called How Long. This was the one that ended up in the book. In this garden of your making, I am weeping. My loneliness knows no bounds, and you, hidden at every turn. What is beauty without you near? Only grace can dust my lips with color and bring brightness back to my eyes. I have been given everything, and yet I am parched and broken. Like a bird who has forgotten how to fly, I am. Like a rose with no fragrance, I have become. Come back, you say. When I am frightened, you may ask too much or take everything I have mounted into my sack. Return, you say. I glance at the place where I once wore your ring. Its imprint still shows upon my finger. Surrender, you say. And suddenly, the gate swings open to the inner courtyard where you have been, Baba, all along. The moon, a reflection of my sorrow for how long I have been away from you.
Mm. Both very nice.
I couldn't choose.
Yeah.
Thanks, y'all.
That's very, very sweet.
I guess it's my turn.
Yes.
So I was going to read from the book that I selected poems from years of poetry writing and put it in one book called 101 Poems of Love and Lament to Beloved Baba. But then I opened this file just now and there's 6 books in there. And I'm like, six books? So I decided to dive into them and I picked 2 randomly. And it probably doesn't qualify for anything Tracey asked for, but nonetheless,
That's okay.
here they are,
Break
part
the-
of my journey.
Yeah.
This one is context-wise, October of 2001. I heard Baba's name in December. No, I'm sorry. December of 2000. So never mind. Wrong context. Leaving Arizona. Leaving Arizona, selling the lovely condo, heading back to live in Chicago, where I do not have to worry so much about jobs and payments, where I can settle down with the family again and let it all wash over me. The scene here, the temple, the ochre or dark blue-robed brothers, the good weather year-round, devotee friends, no family, no job, plenty of marketing blues, lots of solitude, healing the memories of loving a faceless ghost. I look forward to the day where I can look back and laugh at it all. But I know that day will never come. For how could so much pain ever become humorous?
Can I ask a question?
No.
You must know the question I want to ask.
I don't, but I can plead the Fifth Amendment, right?
Okay.
Or whatever amendment that
All
is.
right.
Sure.
Go ahead, ask.
What was or is the faceless ghost?
Good question.
Mhm.
Maybe if I read more of my poetry, you may figure it out.
Okay.
But not this next one.
Fair game. Fair game.
Love it. It's supposed to be mysterious, right?
Yeah, it is.
And universal, hopefully. Master gamesman. And I don't write in thee and thou, so this must be a post-Yogananda era. Yep, sure enough. December 2000. Master gamesman. How could any earthly lover ever touch your feet when it comes to the loving arts, unless trained in love by thee? This art of romance has always been your art. We are just innocent bystanders caught up in the roar and thunder of your love. O master lover, do the needful and unite us in thy glory. Spare us the torment of earthly miseries that stab at our thrashing hearts. O master gamesman, do the needful and release us from these woes that burn us in the bondage of separation. Unite us, if you will, so that we may rest and worship thee in peace. Heart-to-heart meeting, soul and spirit greeting. Come and unite us in thy peace. We yearn to worship thee in complete freedom, in rapture and abandon. O beloved of our hearts and souls, unite us in thy glory.
Jai Baba.
Wow, lovely.
That is lovely.
Thank you.
You had just come to Baba in that month?
Let's see, December, I heard Baba's name end of the year. So let's say October, November, December, sometime there I heard his name. And I was in India shortly thereafter, like early 2001. So, or mid to June 2001. So I think I must have heard Baba's name by this time. I should have written the date,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't.
Oh.
But I know roughly it was the day that it was definitely before February, because that's when actually I had an experience of Baba. But in December, I went to Iran. And before going to Iran, I invited my Baba contact. So I must have heard his name end of November, October, November, that time frame.
Mm.
Yeah.
As an archivist, I beg you to work out that date and write it down, you know, as best you can. Date everything you have, please.
I know. I will.
Yeah.
Oh, I wrote my biography, self-biography, when I first came to Baba. So maybe in that biography, it's there somewhere.
Mm.
Yeah. Wonderful.
What do you call it? Memoirs, not biography, my memoirs of coming to Baba.
Mm.
Mm.
Well, some people call it autobiography.
Autobiography or memoir.
Yeah.
Autobiography of a yogini, it would have been at that time.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Who's got something for us?
Huh?
Who's got something for us?
I have one.
Okay.
When somebody read something that made me get this out, maybe it was yours, Tracey. This is a poem that I was in India a number of years ago, and I ran into my friend Tom Fortson, whom some of you probably know.
Oh, yeah.
And I hadn't seen him for long enough that it took me about 2 days to recognize him in the darshan. And I'd asked him if he'd seen this little book I'd put out, and he said, yeah, and he mentioned this one poem, and it, you know, he didn't mention anything else, but apparently, and I realized that I feel there is something special about this one, so so I'll read it now. I haven't read it for a long time. It's very self-incriminating. It's called Suddenly. It's a prose poem. Suddenly, after the year's flat line of living death, and then the slow climb of steady, sustained recovery, a period lasting roughly a couple months, I felt something moving inside again. The spirit was back. The bird that had flown its nest, leaving me dead, although technically alive, leaving me utterly without wings, which allowed my life to be entirely predictable. I could feel it again. A magnificent aliveness was moving in me, the mighty force that can't be suppressed. That which I thought was gone was back.
Mm.
But as before, it was not a manageable force. It was not a reasonable force or a compromising force. It was like a great rock, ROC, a great eagle, a phoenix within me, which demanded its own way. It exercised its great wings. It lifted off with enormous power, and I had to either say yes and make it my will to go along, or totally unthinkable, to say no to, well, to the life force itself.
7:30.
I was well enough to know the difference, to know you do not say no to this force. And so I followed, and to my family who had lovingly cared for me as I lay in my dead bed, I would no doubt seem unstable again. And to my doctor, well, I never would have been able to explain to him. The cautious approach with a capital C and capital A had been all right for a while during the slow climb. All right until the great bird, the spirit, showed up, was breathing and kneading and moving in me again. Until then, I had been a humble little mound. I asked everyone's advice before making any decision. I had few or no ideas of my own, little or no energy, and I would, quote, work with, unquote, anyone. Now, who could work with the great voice, the great screaming silent voice, and the great wings that accompanied it, the power and the inspiration? The unlimited had alighted, had roosted in me, and I could not and would not be able to listen to limitation's voice any longer. It did not have the credentials of being real. And so suddenly I was living dangerously again. Suddenly I was following something inside me once more across the tabletop of this plane of reality, this world. Okay, Baba.
Very brave.
Well, we've been through things by our age, and I think I ended up. I had read the poem by Francis Brabazon called "The Wind of the Word," in which he talks about how he first felt Baba in the wind in the wilderness in Australia, and he just followed it. And I began feeling, and I wasn't copying Francis. I began actually feeling the wind leading me in downtown St. Louis, where I was living, where I had moved from my parents' house. And then one night it followed me across the Mississippi River Bridge, and I stuck my thumb out and moved to Myrtle Beach. And that was just a real adventure. And
Yeah. Well, you can really feel that. The whole
yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
Palpable, that poem.
Hmm.
Thank you. Kelly, would you like to go next?
Well, I could read one of Baba's ghazals.
Mhm.
And it's not hard to choose them. I mean, they're all amazing. They're not light entertainment, you know.
Mhm.
And I'll read the translation, and then I will sing it. And I don't know if we discussed it a few weeks ago, but in the ghazal form, at least in northern India and in the Indian tradition, you repeat a line twice. So I will do that. But first I will read the translation. The title is the first three words, Jab Humne Dil, which means when in my heart. When in my heart I saw the form of my beloved, wherever my glance fell, I only saw God Almighty.
Mm.
When in my heart I saw the form of my beloved, wherever my glance fell, I only saw God Almighty.
Mm.
He is that matchless one that appears in matchless forms. I myself saw that unknown one manifested in thousands of forms. He is that matchless one that appears in matchless forms. I myself saw that unknown one manifested in thousands of forms. When in my heart I saw the form of my beloved. Not only this whole world, but my honor, my religion too, I sacrifice to you. My soul's life, my very heart's blood, and all that's within me, I cast down at your feet. Not only this whole world, but my honor, my religion too, I sacrifice to you. My soul's life, my very heart's blood, and all that's within me, I cast down at your feet. Excuse me. I was just chewing on nuts, so I have bits of nut in my mouth. That may ruin me singing this. Bear with me. जब हमने दिल में अपने नक्शे निगार देखा, जब हमने दिल में अपने नक्शे निगार देखा, जिस जब नजर डाली परवरदिगार देखा, जिस जब नजर डाली परवरदिगार देखा, हाय बेनशाह वो यकता, जब हाय हजार पैदा, हाय बेनशाह वो यकता, जब हाय हजार पैदा, हमने तो ये कही को अंदर हजार देखा, हमने तो ये कही को अंदर हजार देखा, जब हमने दिल में अपने नक्शे निगार देखा, कुर्बान तुम पे दुनिया, ईमा ओ दिन भी सदके, कुर्बान तुम पे दुनिया, ईमा ओ दिन भी सदके, जानो जिगर दिल भी सब कुछ निसार देखा, जानो जिगर भी दिल भी सब कुछ निसार देखा, जब हमने दिल में अपने नक्शे निगार देखा, जिस जब नजर डाली परवरदिगार देखा।
Baba.
Elaine, who wrote the melodies of those songs?
I don't know. Some of them are ancient, and I think it was the custom. I know that Baba wrote some of these ghazals to the tunes to be sung by tunes that already existed.
I see.
And so in some cases, Baba might have written the tune, but this one I think is one of the traditional tunes that were popular for ghazal singers. So I do not know who wrote it. Okay.
Elaine, will you do another one?
Okay. I'll try to pick one that's, that one is, that's only 3 couplets. So I like to do the short ones because the long ones go on like, 6, 8, 10 couplets, and I don't want to sing one of those. Okay. Oh. Well, there's Ishtiake, that's everyone's favorite.
Maybe we could close the meeting with that one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea because we're already 7:40. Maybe save it for that's a good idea. Thank you, Tereshte. We'll close with that. Yeah.
Okay, there is Likan Paranase. That's the one the twins do that's so funny and so cute. Oh, yes. Okay. This one is some Persian words in it. And you can point out the difference in pronunciation, because the women that I learned it from, even though they are descended from Persians, I mean, Katie, I learned this one from Katie, I think. And of course, she, was from Karachi, not Karachi, but
Bombay. No.
anyway, she was Pakistani, and her accent has evolved differently. So my pronunciation is based on what Katie taught me.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see, let me read the translation first. Although I am a sinner, how fortunate am I? O God, I am a helpless stranger here in this realm, but content to be such. Have pity on the condition of this poor beggar, so that in love, you and I are completely captivated, which also means, you can also say, are completely as one, become as one. Okay. Gunegaram valekin kushnasibam. Gunegaram valekin kushnasibam. Kudavanda garibam base garibam. Kudavanda garibam base garibam. Unigaram volekin ushnasibam. Rahambar halein miskin gadakun. Rahambar halein miskin gadakun. Kedarish kedoman yakata asiram. Kedarish kedoman yakata asiram. Gunigaram valekin kushnasibam.
Baba Elaine, I would not change a thing. I can just picture Katie singing this. I wouldn't change. I don't care if the pronunciation isn't right on. Oh,
I don't either.
oh.
This is how the women sang it for Bob.
Yes, and that's what needs to be preserved. Yes, because if we turn it into fluent Farsi, it will lose it.
Yeah.
Don't change anything.
Oh, good.
Beautiful.
Well, I'm glad to hear that from you.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah. Because the first time I went to Marazaj, Katie took my hand and took me into Mandali Hall and sat me down and sang me this one and Ishtiaq.
Did she?
Yes.
Okay.
Unforgettable.
Yeah.
Unforgettable.
What a treasure it was. It is. To have those women, to know them.
Thank you for sharing that. So fabulous.
Yeah. These ghazals are, as I said, they are not light entertainment, they're pretty heavy stuff. This is not child's play he's talking about. And yet they went right through me the first time I heard them. I think I mentioned this once before, a couple of weeks ago, that Katie was sitting on the veranda singing this to one other person. I don't even remember who the person was. No one else was around but me. And I was very depressed. I had just lost so many things, which I won't go into now, but Baba was in that mode of taking away things, just chopping and taking. He was major surgery. And I'm sitting on that stone parapet that went up the stairs that was a seat, on the veranda, and Katie was at the other end singing, and Mara had just passed. That's one of the things I had just lost. I was devastated on every level, and Katie started singing these ghazals, and I don't, of course, speak Urdu. I still don't, although I understand many words now, but I couldn't speak it. But these things, I didn't have to understand a word. They went right through me like ions, negative ions or something. They just, I just totally got them. And that's why I pursued learning them and making the album, recording the women singing them. So that's how that happened. Baba had me there at the right time, and that corner turned my life. It changed. I had been a Baba lover for many, many years, and everything that had happened was all part of being a Baba person, and doing this work literally turned my life 90 degrees and took off again.
Do you have recordings of the women singing that together?
Yes.
Can you share those next week with us? I would love to hear those.
Well, I'll give you one. It's the Huma
CDs.
They're two CDs.
Yeah.
Oh.
You can order them, right? Still, I think.
Yeah. Well, I've got some here.
Oh.
You can order them from me.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
I think I have one of them, but I'd like both of them.
Telly has one. Telly bought one recently. Sure.
So for those of you who came on late, Elaine is going to read Baba's work next week, and that the whole hour will be dedicated to Elaine's translations of Baba's work. And so, yay! Thank you for bringing some of those recordings on. I would love to hear the women singing those as well as you singing them. I think that would be a lovely combination to hear both.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know that I have a way to play them, whether this computer will take them or not. It might.
I have a laptop with a CD player if you want to borrow it.
I think mine does.
Okay. Well, call me if you don't have it, and I'm happy to get together with you. And
well, I'll get one to you this week.
Thank you.
No problema. You're still in the same house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still in Kenilworth, yeah.
And save one for me.
I'm going to say goodnight, you guys. I'm getting tired.
Okay, Max. Thank you for
good to see you all.
and sharing.
It's lovely to see you, Max.
You
Jai
too,
Baba.
Elaine. You too.
Baba.
Ellie,
Baba.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Jai Baba. I'd like to go next because I'm so inspired by Elaine singing, and I want to read you my sort of my coming to Baba, one of many, I'm sure.
Good.
It's called Remembering My Love for God. It is little wonder now why you left me so parched and desolate, wandering the back alleys of delusion until today. It is little wonder now that you have come looking the way you do. Oh, thief of hearts, now I know why you kept yourself so well hidden behind the guru images of my past. It is little wonder now why you kept me in constant agony, flailing in confused disharmony, tangled up in all forms of idol worship that kept failing to get me to my destiny. It is little wonder now why you were hiding such a secret in the beauty you are revealing to me today. Oh, Meher Baba, your beauty brings me down on my knees as I silently affirm how worthwhile it has been to be parched for so long. Now I am dazed that such beauty as you would come down here after me and walk this earth here with me. Oh, how easy it is to forget that you no longer dwell in form, as your infinite beacon radiates from lotus hearts awakening through your lover's eyes twinkling. Where have I been hiding from you? But would I have come to you so instantly fall in love with you had you sooner awakened me to your matchless beauty? You came when it was time, you always do. And now you are making room in my heart only for you. As it should be, as it has always been, as I have slept, as you awaken me again to remind me to love you again the way you want me to.
Jay Baba. There were some fabulous lines in that. Oh my gosh.
Thank you for Reshte.
Yeah. Very, very moving.
I can't remember writing it.
That got me. That got
Wow.
me good.
You must have really been gotten out of the way and just let it come through if you can't remember that. You know?
20 some years ago.
Wow. Tilly, we haven't heard from you in a while, dear. Would you like to read something?
Sure. Yes. I'm going to read something from Darwin Shaw. Wherever, I forgot where I got this from. It's called Song of the Wind. And Darwin Shaw wrote these verses inspired by Baba's beauty during the 3 incredible weeks. Let the song of the wind ever remind you of my love. Let its soul healing balm sigh through your being wherever you are, and know that I have loved you as only God can love. And be sure that I will love you thus throughout eternity. Know, beloved, that you are mine forever, that I have called you from the realm of illusion to caress you with love, with divine, love divine.
Was that the end?
Yeah.
That was set to music so beautifully.
Who did that? Who did the music?
I don't know, but I've heard Jim Myers sing it, and I've heard Jeff Wolverton does it beautifully.
Oh, wow.
The Song of the Wind. Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Oh.
I didn't realize it was Darwin's.
Beautiful.
Tracey, something from you.
Oh yeah, this is one that I wrote. One day I was at the center, and everything I looked at, every book I opened seemed to have the word forgiveness in it, and I became a bit concerned that there was someone that I had not forgiven, and I realized that there was someone I had not forgiven, and so I wrote a poem about it, and I felt like Baba was really asking me to write this poem because he knew that I needed to come to terms with it. There are lots of there are lots of references to the Bible in it. Just I don't know why I did that. Anyway, it's called "The End of the Spear," and the title came from a neighbor that I had. She died a couple of years ago, but several years ago, Jane and Will Stanhope and I went to see a movie. It was a true story. It was called The End of the Spear. And it was about some missionaries from the United States in the 50s who went to Ecuador to help two tribes who were basically killing each other off because they had this very strange belief system that if someone killed a member of their family, that they had both the right and the responsibility to kill a member of that person's family in exchange. And so basically the two tribes were decimating each other. They were traditional Ecuadorian tribes. And the Ecuadorian government was going to relocate them, and these people from the United States said, may we try to talk to them about forgiveness before you relocate them from their ancestral grounds. So they went down in a plane. It was in a very remote part of Ecuador. They spoke a few of the words of these tribes, and they had a conversation, and there was a misunderstanding. And the American men were killed within several hours. They were speared to death. And one of the men had a Super 8 camera and filmed their deaths. And the wives of the men went down to retrieve the bodies of their husbands, and they found the Super 8 camera, and they saw what had happened. And these women were so committed to teaching forgiveness that they decided to go live among the men and women who had murdered their husbands and teach forgiveness. And that's when the movie got really interesting. I was like, okay, these people are serious. And it turned out my neighbor in Weaverville, where I lived for 7 years, which is northern part of Asheville, my neighbor in Weaverville was a member of the Weaver family. She was an elderly woman. And just before she died, I met her family. And it turned out she was one of those women who lived in Ecuador for 30 years teaching forgiveness to this tribe. And they were successful in teaching forgiveness, and they did not have to relocate the tribes. And I was so moved by the work that they did. I was so moved that anyone would commit their life like that to forgiveness that it became the model at this point. Roll the stone away from the tomb where your heart has lain for eons. It has become an incubating grief, which at your own hand has become a weapon. Running from yourself at all costs. Discovering too late that you have become a tourist instead of a pilgrim, or loud instead of powerful. Given up for dead, but only sleeping. Coax yourself awake again by leaning into your sure and eventual release. The thorn lodged into that once tender spot has fallen out now from the sound of your own voice. That which flowers on the vine wants to remind you that this beauty was always meant for you. Nothing lightens the weight of the world like dropping the spear we point against ourselves. Consider becoming your own wild and faithful companion. Turn out the lights you have left on night after sleepless night because of fear. And watching the star veil hatch a firmament, listen. The stars are speaking their love language, saying, forgive yourself.
Brava. Wow. Really wonderful. Amazing. Woo.
I got the sense for a minute that you were Daniel Ladinsky.
Oh.
You guys hang out together a lot?
We used to. Before he ruined our relationship.
Huh? What?
We used to be very close friends until he did what he does with everybody, which was, to decimate the relationship.
Yeah, well,
Very good friends.
no comment. I didn't get close enough, thankfully. Baba saved me.
We toured together, and he was a big supporter of my work. And it was really Daniel Ladinsky's work that made me I was already writing poetry in that same vein that he was writing in, but I just didn't know there was a format. I didn't know there was someone else doing it. I didn't show it to anybody, and I was embarrassed that I was even writing this poetry. And then I saw Daniel Ladinsky in Asheville, and I said, oh my, what? Okay, really? And I just instantly was inspired to write more, and eventually got to meet him. I actually was given the money to take a sabbatical from work, and I went to the center to write poetry. And Daniel Ladinsky came and met me because he heard that someone was there writing poetry. I would grab total strangers at the center, and recite my poems to them so I could hear them out loud, because that's so important. And so after trying to meet him for years and him saying, no, he came and met me one day at the center, and we just became instant friends, and we're very good friends for several years. And anyway, I'm so appreciative. I know he's a very controversial subject person. He's not allowed at the center anymore. I mean, that's about as controversial as it gets. But I'm deeply appreciative of the support he gave me, and that he heard Baba's call to work with Hafez. I'm deeply appreciative of that. So, yeah, I feel a big connection to him. Yeah, the pros and cons of being alive.
Mm-hmm.
Would you share that poem through email?
Absolutely. I think I have your email address, Telly, don't I?
I think so.
Yeah, I'll be happy to send you a copy of it. And Elaine, you were going to read us one of Baba's again before.
Okay.
End it with Ishtiyaq, yes.
Yes. The word ishke means your thing, your passion, your obsession. And with the ishti, with the T in the middle of it, it means your passion. So let's see.
Ishtiyaq, I thought meant, the whole word is passion, desire.
Yeah, ishke. So putting the T-I in the middle is
Ishq is love,
means your.
Ishtiyaq is desire, but
Right.
two different words, two different roots.
Right. When your love for God becomes intense, beyond limit, like over the top, okay, then you will see his glory right in front of your eyes. What can I tell you what you will become when you lose your ego? You yourself, the lover, will become the beloved. He whispered in my ear the secret behind the veil. I will become all yours when you become all mine. Ishtiyaq shok jabada se siva ho jayega. Ishtiyaq shok jabada se siva ho jayega. Samane akon ke wo jal vanuma ho jayega. Samane akon ke wo jal vanuma ho jayega. क्या कहूँ ऐ दिल कुदी को करा तो क्या हो जाएगा क्या कहूँ ऐ दिल कुदी को करा तो क्या हो जाएगा वासिले हक होगा बंदे से खुदा हो जाएगा sile hakahoga mande sekuda hojaeka kanome akar ke wokahe gaye mujhe paradei ki baat kanome akar ke wokahe gaye mujhe paradei ki baat mai tera hoja unga jab tu mera ho jayega mai tera hoja unga jab tu mera ho jayega इश्तियाक शोक जब हद से सिवा हो जाएगा सामने आँखों के वो जलवानुमा हो जाएगा Jai Meher Baba.
Jai Baba.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful tune.
Lovely. Thank you, everybody. It was such a rich sharing, and I so enjoyed it. And it was just wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was
Thank you for holding the space.
Yeah.